Well, first off, Brandt, let me explain this to you. Podcasts have been around a long time.
Yeah.
You see, they've been around since like the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
But how a podcast works, Brandt, are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're listening to me because I want to
Listening.
explain this to you.
I'm listening.
How podcast... Okay, good.
Get it?
Well done.
You're
All right, let me
explaining
explain this to you.
podcasting to me while I'm listening.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you have a topic, a big topic, right? And then you record yourself.
Yeah.
And then you do the podcast, and then you put it out there, and then people listen to it. Clear?
it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a great explanation, I think.
Yeah. No, it was perfect.
Okay.
I just needed to explain that to you.
I appreciate you explaining that. I didn't ask for that, but
Yeah, but
you needed to get that
But
out.
yeah, but I needed to explain that to you.
I think explaining things should be a topic for us.
Will you go into that a little bit more, please?
Yeah. So let me explain this to you. From conversations to the natural world to complete silence, so many of us focus on what's next rather than what is happening now. I'm Listening is a podcast that dissects the importance of listening.
I'm Drew Richmond,
And I'm Brandt Christofferson.
and this is I'm Listening, a podcast simply about the skill of listening.
I think there is something to be said when we're explaining something about how people receive it. I can't tell you how many times I've tried explaining something to someone. They're like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah.
Versus the times when someone explains something to me and it's like, oh, that was awesome. Like, I get it. What makes an effective explanation?
Yep.
I say we jump into something like that today.
I think that's a great idea, and I just can't believe we came up to this topic just
Now.
like this.
I'm not reading my notes at all.
No, not at all. In this episode of I'm Listening, I guess we'll just go with explanation. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Can we mansplain it?
Well, you see, Brandt, let me explain this to you. There's these things called podcasts.
It's going to turn into mansplaining very, very quickly.
I don't.
It's just,
No, Brandt, it's
yes,
not.
It is. It's two guys going, let me tell you something. No one's asking for this.
So if we're one of the things we want to talk about is mansplaining, but in the act of us doing an episode about explanation is mansplaining.
I'm just saying we've got a very fine line to walk here. We are going to do our best, I hope, to be.
I have all the confidence in the world that
not
we will
condescending
definitely
about
mansplain explanation.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We'll put it in this context. That a lot of this stuff, like you said, we are not experts on listening. This is also a chance for us to learn about this.
Yes.
So this is us going, man, we've been learning about this, and this is our chance to just get it out there, talk about it, and kind of talk about what we've come across when it comes to explaining things. And mansplaining is one of those things.
Yes, and we will definitely not mansplain how to explain whilst being two men discussing explaining.
No pressure.
Ready, go.
Okay.
Well, Brandt, where do we start? Where's the starting point of...
Let's start with a question. We'll start with the easy one. When is a time when someone explains something to you and you're like, that was amazing?
I'll start with this. My brain immediately goes to some sort of sporting event where I don't necessarily understand the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But there are at least two, if not three, of the modes of learning. Is that what they're called? Are they called modes?
Today they are.
Cool. Modes of learning. At least two of the three are being utilized. For example, I don't understand what just happened there.
Yeah.
Well, let me show you and explain to you verbally. So you have this verbal or audio component, but you also have a visual component where I can see what they're talking about and you're explaining it to me.
Yeah.
Okay. The best is when I can do it whilst you're explaining it to me.
Got it.
So you get at least 2 out of 3. If I'm on the telephone and you're explaining something to me in midair or, like a podcast, and you're not doing a great job of it and it's just audio, that's really hard for me.
Got it.
How about you?
I go to knots, tying knots.
Ooh,
and knots
boy,
are
that's like a arch nemesis for me.
Yeah, I used to be really like, I can't do this. Like, it just makes no sense when you're trying to teach me how to tie this knot. But I was with some folks a while back, and this one instructor had this great approach to teaching how to tie a clove hitch. And yeah, a clove hitch it's not a knot, I suppose. It's a hitch, because whatever. We won't get into technical details.
The knot police I don't think, listen to these episodes.
Good. And it's one of those things, like I think you were saying too, you can't just do an auditory explanation. There's got to be other levels to what you're talking about, what you're explaining. So for teaching a knot, just talking about it, not going to work for me. That was not a pun. I didn't mean for that to come across that way.
You beat me to it.
But there's a visual component to it.
Yep.
And then there's also that kinesthetic component to it as well, where I'm like, I need to do it now. So it's talk to me, show me, and then let me try it. So those are components that I look for. And that was a great way to do that. Ever since then, I found YouTube videos like on tying knots or anything, fixing my car. I'm going to go and watch a video to figure out how to have it explained to me.
That's a great example as well. So let's make something up real quick. So let's say...
That's all we do on a podcast.
Yeah. Let's say that you're bringing your Christmas tree home, and your Christmas tree, you just went out into the woods and you cut it down and you threw it on top of your car just for the sake of, making up a story. And then when you got it home, just making this up, you told your family that you didn't need any help taking the Christmas tree off the top of the car. And then that Christmas tree, as you're getting off the top of the car, snaps off your rear view mirror.
Is this just a hypothetical situation, Drew?
Completely hypothetical.
Never really
and
happened.
No. And now your rear view mirror is hanging off. Your side view mirror is hanging off the side of your car, and you have to fix it. Immediately went to YouTube when I did this and watched a couple of videos, ordered a rear view mirror or side view mirror off of eBay for like $20. Watched 2 other videos and fixed it myself, and it was amazing. Why? A, I wanted to learn about it. I needed to learn about it. The timing was right. B, I had multiple different methods, although all videos, but a couple of viewpoints, etc. And C, they were thorough. They told me all the tools I needed, and they went through it. I could watch it multiple times when I was ready to watch it to kind of go, wait, what about now? Like step-by-step instructions. So all of the pieces of the puzzle came together, and I fixed my rearview mirror when I took the tree off by myself, and it snapped it off.
It's interesting because I think of like, imagine me or someone being there when you snap the mirror off, and I come up and go, hey, you want some help with that? I know how to fix it. What would you have done to me?
Leave me alone.
I would have been throat punched in like 2 seconds flat.
Leave me alone.
So I think there's something to it where like there is just a way to kind of be like, okay, is this the time for an explanation, or is this not a time for explanation? That timing piece has a lot to do with it, right? You wanted to make sure you were ready for an explanation before you went to go look for an explanation.
I think you can be mediocre at explaining things, but if you get the timing right, if they are ready or they ask you, hey, can you explain that to me? Timing, as they say, is everything. I think that is a huge component for it. As you explain things to a classroom or to a group of people or to an individual, it is time to talk about this now. This is when it's scheduled. We gave you that heads up. We're going to go into it. Regardless, if you're ready, they're at least prepared for it.
Yeah.
But if you just walk up to somebody and be like, hey, let me explain to you how to do this, and you're not mentally ready for that,
yeah,
it doesn't matter how good they are at it, you're not going to listen. So I think timing is a huge component to this.
Timing and also just I don't know, are they ready? Are they open to hearing that? It kind of goes back into the part of mansplaining is like, I didn't ask for your help. I didn't ask for your explanation. Why are you giving this to me? The unsolicited
Right.
advice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't ask. I wasn't ready. I don't care. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Wait, should we start this entire podcast over and say, hello, everyone. This is a podcast called I'm Listening. This episode is about explanation. Please listen to this when you're ready.
I mean, aren't they just doing that anyway? Like, I don't turn on a podcast if I don't want to listen to it.
That's a good call.
I mean,
I don't know. We could,
but
Brandt, why don't you just tell us when we're ready? Why don't you just do that? Why don't you just do that? I guess we're ready.
oh wow, okay, I'm getting a little little snark going on.
Yeah. All right. That's good. All right. So we have timing. We have readiness.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
We've got timing. We've got readiness, and now we've got how are we best going to do this? So it almost like starts with listening by saying, "Hey, what's on your mind?" Or "Do you want help with that?" Or "What are you looking for?" And if they're like, "No," then we don't move forward. Right? We do not explain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So in the case of the casual interaction or unplanned timing of it all, I believe listening does play a big component of it. You're right. Let's get into, can I help you with that? And starting with a question versus telling what's going on.
And I think a lot of us can relate to this. We get the urge to be like, oh, I could help with that. I want to jump in and help.
Yep.
If no one's asking for your help, like, get consent first before just kind of throwing your opinions in there, right?
Yeah.
Or just catching it and being like, okay, maybe now is not the time. Maybe later is the time. To recap again here, we're looking at explanations. We start with listening by asking a question. Maybe they approach us and say, can you explain this to me? Or can you help me with this? So there's that readiness to receive. Second is looking at that timing piece. And is this the right time or place that's best going to help with this? Third is looking at a way to match with the learner how you're going to explain it. If it's going to be just talking through it, show them visually, or have them do it.
Let's transition that point right there into what I would call scheduled explanation.
Okay.
So you have class, you have school, you have a training period at work. At 2:00, we're all going to gather in the conference room and we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Those types of things that are scheduled, it really doesn't matter if you're mentally prepared. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen regardless, and you need to get there. I think school is one of the college, otherwise, is the moment that I come back to often where it's like, I've got a class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. Do I want to go do that? No, but I need to go do that. Mm-hmm. So I have to be mentally prepared. Well, what are some of the best teachers you've ever had through any of your schooling? What was their effectiveness with explaining things to you?
Yeah.
At a time that isn't perfect for you.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, because it's the timing and environment not be right for me to go to this 8 a.m. class. I'm not at my best, but I'm here and this person's going to be talking and it's time to learn. So you're asking then what is it that makes someone more effective at explaining, maybe even when the timing or environment is not correct?
Correct. It's not like professors, teachers, instructors, whatever it is, start off by class by saying, okay, is everybody ready to learn? And if you're not, then we're just not going to do it right now. Right? No, that's not an option.
No.
So we talked about the first example is if you're going to explain something to somebody, it's like, do you want me to explain that to you? Or is this a good time? But if that component of it is removed, now you have to be effective. Well, what are some of the easiest and best ways to be effective when you take timing out of the equation?
We're looking at being concise, saying, okay, what's our goal here? What is the outcome we're going for? And keeping it clear and concise and not getting too down in the weeds.
Agreed.
I think that's what I think of when I think of like an effective teacher.
So here's some tips and tricks. Starting with the outcome first. Our goal today is to do, when we walk away today, I want you to have the desired outcome of this is to, starting with the end goal in mind. The goal is for all of us to be here in an hour, whatever that duration is. So when I explain that to you, Brandt, when I say, good morning, everyone, here we go, we're ready to do this. Our goal is to get you to here. When we wrap up today, we want to have discussed this, this, and this, and be here, here, and here. What does that do for you when you hear that?
That helps bring me in line with what my expectations are for that time that I'm there. If I come in and I say, okay, by the end of this, I'm going to learn how to change my oil, and we didn't get to any of that, and we just talked about rotating my tires. Well, what I don't understand, like my outcome is not clear at all. So you've set a clear outcome, and I'm going to try and follow that track to where you're going.
Yep, exactly. That requires the explainer, the presenter, the teacher, the professor. That requires them to be prepared.
Yeah.
All right. So now the presenter, professor, teacher, explainer is prepared. We just talked about where the goal is, where we all want to be at the end. Now what?
Now the next step is saying, all right, we're going to go through this step by step. We're going to focus one step at a time. I find that I get lost if someone gives me 5 instructions in a row. Do this, 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 this. It's like, whoa, wait, what was I supposed to do first?
Yeah.
How do I know if I did the first thing right or not? So I want to break it down step by step. So yeah, you've got your outcome way out there. I know which way we're pointed. Well, what's my next step?
And laying that out, again, leads to preparedness. So now you have an attentive audience. You know what the goal is. You're laying this out step by step, or at least saying, this is how we're going to go about doing this. That, to me, sets up now the entire basis of how we're going to go about doing this.
As we're talking about this, I think of when my kids want to help me cook dinner. They are like, oh, can we help cook? And I'm like, whoa. Like, we've got to get through this quick because we've got X, Y, and Z coming up. Like, let's do this tomorrow night. So when tomorrow night comes up, I know what meal we're going to make. I can get my, materials laid out, or know what tools I'm going to be using with them and what things I'm going to do, what they're going to do. And it's like, okay, tonight we're going to make spaghetti. Well, what goes in spaghetti, right? They list it out. They go pull the ingredients out. They've got it. Okay, first thing we're going to need to do is boil some water. So I wait, till I get the pot of water out. They fill up the water and get it on the burner, and it starts boiling. Now I'll go into our other steps, but I'm not going to get too far ahead because I'm going to lose them.
Yep, exactly. You just touched on it. So as you go through this process of explaining, teaching, whatever it is, you talk about the end goal. You talk about kind of what the process is going to be. And if you can hit on all 3 modes of learning, this visual, this auditory, and this kinesthetic component of it, you will likely capture your entire audience.
Yes.
Your cooking example is spot on. If the kids want to learn how to make pasta, you could show them 3 videos on how pasta is made.
Yeah.
You could. Very likely what you're going to do is say, I'm not ready to teach you that right now, but tomorrow night we can. You go buy the pasta, you go buy the sauce, you go buy our tomatoes, or however in depth you want to get with this. And then you say, all right, come on into the kitchen. Let me show you how this is done.
Yeah.
Go fill up the pot of water. Now what you're doing is there's an auditory component, there's a visual component, and there's a letting them do it component where they're physically doing it. They are going to cut the vegetables. They're going to cook up the meat. They're going to boil the pasta. They are going to butter the bread. They're going to make the salad. They're going to do all those things to make this spaghetti dinner. And likely, very likely, they will know how to make a spaghetti dinner forever. It's not like you need to go through that 15 times for them to nail it down. They'll know the basics because you hit all 3 one time.
And it's fun because once they get the basics down, then they can start building on that. It can get tricky though. I find sometimes getting into explaining something and there might be negative consequences, right? I've got a burner, I've got boiling water, I've got sharp knives, I've got raw or undercooked meat. There's things where I'm like, don't do that or stop it. I can derail the whole process from having my kids going from being open to going to being like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not fun. So I look at like ways of how we're talking about things. Instead of saying you're doing it wrong, right? It's saying, hey, hold up, let's try this way. That might be a safer approach. It being mindful with how we're phrasing things when we're explaining it.
That's a great point. And this is interesting that you brought that up. I could probably point to more of those cases where I no longer wanted to be explained to because I was told I was doing it wrong. Then I can point to that was an amazing experience of explanation. I get it. Mm-hmm. I got it. And you're really, really good at this. I'm moving on.
I think of the times where I really screw up with that. So we'll go to cooking again, and maybe my wife is cooking something, and I look over and the burner is really high, and I'll walk over there and I'll turn the burner down.
You don't.
I can't help it.
Brandt Christofferson.
It never ends well when I do that. Never ends well.
That is like that. You never do that.
Oh, I can't help it.
I scold you for. I do it all the time. All the time.
Oh, it's so hard. I don't mean to. I don't know.
You are not cooking on a wok right now. This is not like flash fry all of your food in 3 seconds. This is you just nice medium heat.
Yeah.
Medium to low. Medium to low.
So here's where I go wrong. No one asked for my help.
Zero.
No one asked for my help.
No one wanted your help.
No one wanted my help. Everything is fine. And I go in and do something and I just upset the whole apple cart. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Instead of, so what did you do wrong? The timing was wrong. The readiness was wrong. The methodology was wrong. It was reactive, right? Not proactive. I mean, that's a perfect example of what not to do and how ineffective that actually is. Counterproductive.
There are situations I think it can be really tricky where you're like, okay, I see something. I can see where the outcome might not turn out the way they want it. And I want to interject myself somehow. And there's sometimes where you just need to just keep your mouth shut.
So we have, let's do a slight recap here. You know how I like to do those. So we talked about readiness. We talked about effectiveness. We talked about timing. We talked about 2 different cases in which in terms of timing, which is, it is time to do this now, where you're being told that it's time to do this now, class, instructional, meeting, whatever it is. But then also where you don't necessarily have a choice. And then the methodology to warm people up to being ready in an explanation. And then we also talked about the more casual component where if you actually start with a question, would you like me to explain this to you a little bit more? Or can I help you with that right now and explain what's going on? And starting with a question and opening up. And then if they say no, then you have to be disciplined enough to walk away. But if they say yes, then you need to do your part and be ready to explain that to them. So I think all of those things are really good tips. Again, thinking about listening and how critical that is. You can explain all you want. If they're not ready to listen, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be effective. So most of our episodes talk about how you should listen better. This one really focuses on how you prepare the other person for your effectiveness when it comes to listening. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is. It is different, and it is kind of looking at from the other side of things. But in order to be a better listener, these are some of the components we're going to want to look at to help get us in those environments where someone who's explaining something can be set up to explain it successfully versus set up to explain it and it doesn't make sense and it all falls apart and I end up turning the burner down.
I can't believe you do that. I can't believe you do that. We'll have to work through that a little bit more, Brandt. What about the quick ones? What about let me just show you how to do that real quick?
Yeah.
The unwelcomed or the welcomed, let me just show you this thing real quick. Because it does also fall into explanation. We've really phrased this around this big setup thing. What about the real quick ones?
The real quick ones are important because there are ways to ask, can I help you with this? That can come across as really annoying. And then there's ways at looking how we're phrasing it that can be inviting or helpful. Hey, can I show you a quick trick on this?
Yep.
Oh, I see what you're up to. Can I just show you one thing to try out and see if this might work or not?
Yep.
Oh, here's one small little tweak that might help. You can take it or not, but I just want to put it out there for you.
In my experience, I'm thinking of two different things, and they both involve sports. I was a little league coach for 3 years. Teaching a kid how to swing a bat is terribly difficult. Are they ready? Maybe. Are you ready? Yeah. Do you know how to do it well? Maybe. But you know how to do it better than they do. So you start to explain it to them why the elbow needs to be up, why the bat doesn't need to rest, and all those other things, right? Mm-hmm. The other example is take anybody golfing that hasn't golfed before. Mm-hmm. Our kids are old enough now. They have fun doing it. We want to go out and it's a fun way to spend an afternoon. You see the third shot that just, gets tossed into the woods quickly. And you're like, okay. So what you want to do is just let me show you. And it's not welcomed. They're very frustrated because it's not working. But you can't help yourself in saying, okay, well, let me just show you. I'm terrible at golf, but I've been doing it terribly for 15 years. Let me show you how to do it real quick. All you have to do is put your feet shoulder widths apart, bend your knees slightly, make sure you don't bend your wrists, make sure that club goes fast when you drive through to keep your head on the ball, make sure that you grip it right, make sure you come over the top of the ball, make sure you don't.
I'm walking back to the clubhouse right now. Yeah, I'm done. Forget it.
How do you, we just talked about how it doesn't work. How do you get the quick one? How do you get that to be effective?
You hit on something we did not really look at when we were looking at this episode is there's the explanation, but there's also, or someone is trying to learn something for the first time. They've opened themselves up to be vulnerable to you and say, hey, this is something I don't know how to do and I want help with it. And now we are in that role of the explainer and saying, okay, I'm not just explaining how to do this to you. I am also helping coach you along in your progression of learning this. Being able to learn something in your mind is different than being able to perform it, right? Being able to swing a golf club is like, okay, you might have explained it really well, but my body is not working that way. In how I want to do it. So I think there's a couple things we can do in this situation. First off, highlight the things that went well. Mm-hmm. So if my swing sucks, is pick out, hey, you know what? You had the knees bent. You had your body positioned the correct way. Here's what we're going to work on next. I need you to move your wrists over this way. And when you swing, scoop down. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I made that part up.
Total sense. You should become a golf pro.
But it's right. We're looking at here's what's going right. You are making progress. Let's try this one little tweak and try it again.
Yep.
It's building on top of what's already there. If I come at it and say, what the fuck are you doing? Give me that.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. It's shutting down right away. Yeah.
Yep. So in that moment where you want to just fix everything or explain everything or get it right immediately or have them start doing it better, your approach is critical.
Yeah. And
we can practice this. We can practice this as a society going through this and going, I want to. Okay. Praise. This is what you're doing really, really well. Mm-hmm. Let's work on one thing right now.
Yeah.
And you can start that off with saying, can I help you real quick? That sort of thing. And if they're like, no, leave me the fuck alone, it doesn't matter how well you're going to explain because they're frustrated and they're not ready to learn. Later on, they might come up to you and say, when I was hitting the golf ball into the woods, what could I have done to do that better?
Mm-hmm.
Or can I take golf lessons when I'm ready to learn how to play golf? Yeah, absolutely. Here's, let's look up some opportunities to learn how to play the game versus me instructing you while we're just playing casually and you're getting frustrated with me.
Yeah. My takeaway from this is in order for listening to really be effective, we have work to do on the explaining end at making it stick. It's not how well we explain it. It is the tone, the language, the phrasing, and the attitude we are coming into it with that is going to really make or break the situation.
I like that. And it kind of falls into that preparedness and awareness of the entire situation.
Mm-hmm.
This is my takeaway. If you want to be an effective explainer, then you have to do your part. If you want them to listen to you, you have to prepare. You have to be aware. It doesn't matter if it's a scheduled time. It doesn't matter if it is real quick. It doesn't matter if it's hey, can you show me this? If they are ready to learn and they're ready for your explanation, then you have to be ready. And if you're not, you can say, you know what? I'm not ready right now, but let's do that tomorrow, later on. And the effectiveness of all of this will be met. So that's what explanation is, Brandt. Do you have any questions?
No, I appreciate your explanation on that.
I appreciate your appreciation. Great topic.
Did
Once
we just
again,
explaining? Did we?
Oh, no, we're just a couple of men explaining what explaining is. It's fine. Everybody wants to hear about us talking about explanation. Why wouldn't they, Brandt? Why wouldn't they want to listen to us?
Broadcast it to the whole world.
That's right, because we're perfect at explaining how to do things because we're men. Great episode, Brandt, on that note.
And we just got canceled.
Well, no, we didn't, because we made fun of ourselves, so it's fine.
It's okay.
we called ourselves out first.
Self-deprecating toxic masculinity is okay. Yeah.
A great method to all of this. Great topic. Good job. We'll talk to you later.
All right. See you, Drew.
Bye, Brandt. In the description of this podcast, you will find more information and a list of any of the sources that we used.
This podcast is created and produced by Drew Richmond and Brandt Christofferson, editing by me, and the I'm Listening theme music by Drew.
That's me.
That's you.
Brandt, I will talk to you later, my friend.
We'll see you next time.
Yeehaw.
Have a good one, Drew.
Bye, Brandt.